Chapter 17. Fatima's head rested on my shoulder as we flew back to the camp. She had used up all her energy grabbing the warning signals, and she needed medical help, and fast. I left food and water from the raid with the other grinders. Grinders? The word shot through my brain like an electric shock. A grinder was a person? No, not a person, a child. I thought I'd always been led to believe that a grinder was just another piece of mining equipment, a machine. But a grinder wasn't a machine. A grinder was a kid. I shook my head. I needed to focus on getting Fatima to Mandeep. I clicked on my radio, hoping I was right that the landers weren't listening. Miner 3 calling. Elena answered. Miner 2 here, go ahead. Elena, I need Mandeep to get ready. I've got an emergency. Christopher, are you okay? Her voice cracked. I'm fine, but I've got a patient. A grinder. A grinder? Isn't that a machine? How did you fit one in the digger? Elena didn't know. I felt a tinge of relief. A grinder isn't a machine. It's a sick girl, and she's in my digger right now. Elena didn't say anything. I could hear her stumbling for words. I can explain later. Just tell Mandeep to get ready. Food, water. Okay, Roger. Elena called out to Mandeep before turning back to the microphone. Doctor says to make sure she doesn't fall asleep. Keep her talking, active. Got it. Roger and out, she said. Fatima lifted her head and opened her eyes. Good. I had lots of questions. I thought a grinder was a machine. Fatima gave a small laugh. That's what they want you to believe. But why use kids? Machines are expensive. Expensive to build and expensive to ship into space. Children had been used in mines for centuries, so they went back to what worked. She coughed and then put her head back on my shoulder. What does a grinder do? She lifted her head again. The jobs that are too risky for an expensive machine or a fully paid miner. Like what? You can crawl into small crevices and holes encrusted with delicate gems, gold, platinum. Dig, 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 and pray there is no cave-in. Her head lulled again and fell back onto my shoulder. I felt horrible making her concentrate, but we still had 10 minutes to go, even at top speed. Are all the grinders children? I asked, dreading the answer. Fatima nodded. Small hands and small bodies, also small price tags. My parents barely got a month's rent when they sold me to Melmeg. I gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles hurt. That's horrible. Yes, but in some ways it is better than growing up with a family like mine. I escaped them. You can't even imagine, can you? My father was a miner, I said, bristling. Look at your smooth hands, your clear skin. You've never done a hard day's work in your life. Rich kid. That's why your shoulders are so soft, like a pillow. I need to sleep. I'm sorry, I didn't know. And if I survive a few years, then I get my freedom and even a little money. Do you have any water? I reached under my seat and pulled out a bottle, handing it to her. She just took a little sip and then 3 more small ones. It's not a good idea to drink too much when you are dehydrated. I've seen the pain and cramps they can cause. How long have you been down here? 2 years, but there were other grinders before us. Once they grow too big, they are sent back to Earth, and then more children are brought here. There are always children. I closed my eyes and shook my head. I'd seen transport ships arriving, but my parents had always said they were bringing new supplies. Was that what Fatima was to Melming? To my parents? A supply? How long had you been locked in that cage? Days. Days that seemed like an eternity. All your miners had gone to some party. They never came back. They hadn't even invited the grinders to the party. They had just left them in a cage. I was having a hard time processing all of this. I wasn't angry yet, just kind of in shock. We had some water and some food, but it ran out. So I made a hook to grab the beacons and hoped someone would track them to find us. You did. She took another sip from the bottle. Why did they abandon us? I hesitated, unsure of the answer myself. I assumed there was a terrible tragedy. Why else would a rich kid like you be driving a digger filled with food with no adult supervision? There was a raid. Pirates of some kind attacked us. We call them landers. They killed all the adults. There are only 9 of us left, all kids. She nodded again and tried once more to rest her head on my shoulder. I am so tired. Let me sleep. I hated myself for asking the next question, but I needed to keep her alert, and I needed to know. Did all the adults know about this? About you? She nodded, or possibly her head had just rolled to the side again. But then she whispered words that sent